Man, it's your boy AMC the Creature, your spiritual teacher, here to reach you and pull you out of darkness, gang. Your boy relapsed, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm just gonna keep it a beam with y'all. I relapsed. But what I found is, and I'm not trying to make a whole bunch of excuses, but what I found is that I believe relapse is a part of recovery. You know why? Because the relapse shows you how bad you really were. So this weekend, well, it wasn't this weekend, it was like last weekend. And I ain't smoked all week, but it was like last weekend, right? So I ended up going out with my boy. You know, we ended up having a good time. We ended up getting a little lit, you know, drinking too much. And then that led to me, you know, I hit the blunt once a couple times. You know, when you get drunk, you just don't care. Like, I hit the blunt a couple times. So I hit the blunt a couple times, bye. Everything kosher, everything cool. Y'all, I felt like shit all week. Like, I only smoked a little bit. That's not like I relapsed hard and I rolled up and I was just smoking. Nah, I smoked a little bit, not a lot. And I felt my energy depleted, like, and then on top of that, I was on semen retention. Well, I'm still on no fap, but I'm still on no fap, and I'm still taking cold showers. But of course, I was on semen retention for a little minute, and of course, the woman popped up out of nowhere. This little chick that I ain't messed with in a little while. I ended up running into her. You know what I'm saying? One thing led to the next. You know, we both, and it's kind of crazy because we both in like a real vulnerable spot. We both getting out of relationships, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, y'all, so that's what caused the relapse with that. So I'm like, so I felt a little bad. But I'm like, at the end of the day, it's a journey for a reason. Like, it's gonna have peaks and valleys. And it was definitely a low point. But that week, y'all, I don't know if it was from her, if it was on some, you know what I mean, some succubus type energy, or if it was me from like the weed or whatever. But y'all, I was so drained that week. Like, I didn't really feel like doing much of anything. And then, you know, now I finally done, it's been like a week later, I had to fast, you know what I mean? I had to get my mind right. You know, I got back in, I never stopped going to the gym. I think I had missed one day at the gym that Monday, but you know, I got back in the gym, get my mind back right with that. And but yeah, y'all, like, instant karma. Like, God was like, or, you know, the universe, whatever, was like, yo, like, you was sacrificing, you see what I mean? And I think it was trying to show me that I was sacrificing for the right reason, because as soon as I started, like, back, y'all, even still my energy isn't back to where it was when I wasn't, like, when I was completely freshly started my no smoke journey. So it's been a week later and I can still feel like I guess the slight brain fog and all that. Like, it's slight, but it's definitely there. You see what I mean? So, like I said, man, I'm not gonna lie to y'all though. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell y'all, oh, I just quit cold turkey and I ain't have no relapses. And even though this was a minor relapse, I'm pretty sure most people wouldn't even tell you about this. Like, if they had this relapse, I guarantee most of them wouldn't even tell y'all, oh, I had a little minor relapse, or, you know, blah. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, man. You know what I mean? Because I know I'm not the only one going through things, and I know I'm not the only one who's had a relapse. So, and this is not my first time quitting smoking too. So, or taking a break rather, because obviously you ain't quit if you came back to it. But I feel like now, after the relapse, it just reminded me, like, oh, see, this is what I didn't like. And it didn't take much, y'all. Like I said, I didn't smoke much. Like, from going to smoking almost 7 to 10 blunts a day, to then going to, like, getting a little drunk over the weekends and hitting a blunt 4 or 5 times, 3-4 times. To me, that's very light. That's a very light relapse. So I mean, that's very light. But I also know, like, and this is why I had to fast, to get my willpower back up, because I know that basically once you start going in the wrong direction, it's easy to just say, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay going in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? And then I wanted to nip that right in the bud, because I could have went the weekend I could have went out and still had fun with my friends and not smoked at all. Like, I don't even have to, like, and I realize that drinking is a direct correlation with me smoking too, because once I'm drunk, I want to smoke and I don't care. And I really don't even want to smoke. It's just that I'm in a habit of when I'm drunk to smoke. So that's what makes me end up smoking. But the whole time, I don't have to smoke. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna, you know what I mean, keep it a bean. I'm just gonna stop drinking too, because to be honest with myself, like, you gotta stop. Like, if you wanna stop smoking, and you know that drinking is it plays a direct cause in you smoking, and you gotta stop. And I like to drink because, you know, because the thing is, the problem is, you want to have some sort of vice. Like, I realized that with myself, and not everybody. I can't speak for everybody, of course, but I realized for myself, I feel like, damn, if I stop smoking, I stop drinking, you know, well, like, how am I have a good time when I go out? And that's sad that I've only limited myself to having a good time by being intoxicated and not just actually enjoying the time, like enjoying while being out. Like, you don't have to be drunk and high. You could be sober, bro. Like, you could be sober. You could be sipping water in the club, having just as much of a time, because you still got something in your hand that's giving you a feeling of, you know, doing what you do, and it's light. Like, it's still cool. So I've just learned that, y'all, and like, I've learned, and I just seen the distraction, bro. Like, the chick was a distraction. Like, we had a good time, it was cool, but it was a distraction. It got me off my path a little bit, not much, but enough for me to notice that, like, yo, I gotta guard my energy, because I was feeling depleted of my energy all week. So, and if she could have been the cause of that. I'm hoping it wasn't her. I don't want to blame her, but I know how these things work, and I know that when your energy is really pure, you see what I'm saying? There's things that could pull at that, and women is definitely one of them. Like, they'll be a part of the reason why you are distracted. They're really gonna test you, like, whether you know it or not. When you on semen retention, when you on no fat, when you on no smoke, when you just bettering yourself, your energy gets bigger and brighter, and they can feel that. And it's so funny, because after I did it, and you know, I actually got, you know, I ejaculated or whatever, she was like, oh, I knew I was gonna make you do that. And it was just funny to me to think, like, why was she so happy? But, like, did she know? She didn't know I was doing semen retention, so I don't think so. To me, it's like, how did she know? Like, what made her say that? Like, you know what I mean? Just little thoughts, like. But that's neither here nor there. I ain't even gonna blame her for the simple fact that it was my, you know, it was me doing it too. Like, it was, you know, it takes two to tango, but my bad, job up. Yeah, it takes two to tango, but at the same time, it's like, it's interesting. You never know, because, you know, everybody's a spirit having a human experience, so you never know what spirits you're dealing with. You know what I mean? And especially for her to come around the time when she came, when I was in the midst of the period, so, of me doing it. So it's like, all right, I gotta pay attention to all of those signs and things, because, like, once I feel like when your spirit is that clean, you're gonna notice things that you wouldn't have noticed prior. Like, because you were so doled over. When you're doled over, it's things that you'll let go by because you can't see it. But when your spirit is very high, and your vibration is very high, and your temple is very pure, you could automatically see impurities in others. That's why they say it's easy to control others once you have complete control of yourself. Because most people don't have a control of themselves. They have something outside of them that drives them, usually, like, that's pulling them. But once you don't have that, aka you don't have any vices or anything like that that's driving you, you know, it's gonna be harder for you to be controlled. But my bad, y'all. I did not get a lot of sleep last night. I was tossing and turning all night. But yeah, man, that's it. I'm gonna keep it real short with y'all. This video is not too short, but I'm gonna sign out, y'all. But it's definitely been an eye-opener, this relapse, and this felt different than any other time that when I quit smoking and relapse, because usually, like, when I'll go way longer than I went this time with the relapse, but this time I'm actually glad for the relapse, because it showed me, like, number one, it showed me I was on the right, I've been on the right path. I'm not on any wrong path. And what it also showed me was the effects that I was putting myself through. Because to stop smoking and to smoke like a little bit again, and then to see your energy drop, like, it took me a week to get my energy back up, like, which is crazy to me, like, because it shows it's a direct correlation, y'all. I'm talking about from, like, I would go to sleep when I was at the height of all of this in my videos. I would go to sleep at 5 in the morning, and then by 10 in the morning I'm up again, like, ready. Like, I didn't need that much sleep. Then now, since then, I'll go to sleep at 5 in the morning, and now I'm sleeping till 12, and I'm tired and groggy. 1, I'm like, I'm not getting enough sleep. And that's not to say that I may have needed more sleep before, but it's just to say how I felt. Before, I would sleep for 5 hours and feel great. This time I had to sleep for 8 and I still felt tired. No, bro, that doesn't add up to me. That's obviously a change in my energy. So once I recognize that, then I can only equate it to the things that I had changed up. And it was that weekend, and I had went out, I was drinking, so that was 1, smoking, that was 2, and then ejaculation, that was 3. So I'm like, all right, there it is. Like, that's clearly that's the energy killer, you know what I mean? So and life is about balance, you guys. I'm not saying that you can't live in, people can't live in moderation, because people do it every day. Some people smoke every day, don't have no problems. Some people drink every day, they have no problems. And when I say no problems, there's nothing like that's apparent. Now, I don't know how they feel internally. That might be screwed, but they still might be able to get things done as long as they do things in moderation. They're not abusing it, because I was abusing the weed at that point. So that's just something to also take into consideration. But for me right now, man, I don't think I'm touching nothing. I don't want to smoke, I don't want to drink, and I pretty much don't even want to have sex. Like, I'm not really interested right now. Like, and I think I'm getting more control, because I have not broken my no fap journey. I have not fapped, and I have not even thought about it, y'all. That's the thing. I have not thought about the one to look at porn. Nothing has been there. Like, it has not been there. So I know that my spirit, my energy is still, even with me ejaculate or whatever, or having sex or whatever, it's still not the amount that it would be had I been doing that and watching porn and blah blah, completely overly stimulating. So I've been a lot more grounded, I feel like, because of that. And I know that's also been giving me the willpower to get right back on the journey. Like, it's, y'all, I feel like when I smoke though, this is when you know, and I'm gonna cut this video because I was supposed to be cut it, but this is when you know, like, when you smoke and then now it tastes like what it is. Like, it's not as good. It hits like before, but it doesn't taste good. Like, you like, ugh, like I've been doing this, so like, and then your breath, like, you notice all of that. Whereas before, you just smoking, you don't care. You're not even thinking about the long-term effects. Because I was with a chick and she smoked, and I was just like, ugh, like, you stink. Like, you know what I mean? It just didn't feel, it just wasn't like pure, I guess. I don't even want to say that, but it just felt masculine, like, to be around a girl that was smoking. It just felt like more mad. Whereas before, it would be like, oh, I'm just smoking her out, you know what I mean? Just regular smoking shit. Like, you know how niggas be like, it's just regular shit. But it felt different, y'all. I'm like, okay, this shit getting played out. And like I felt done. Like, I'm done. Like, I was done already, because that's why I got on the journey. But when I relapsed and I didn't want to fall back into the habit, it didn't feel like I was missing anything. And I had, karma, something. I think spirit, like, once you tell your spirit you're going to do something and you fall off that, you're going to see some sort of, like, negative. You're going to see the negative. Like, you're going to notice that shit is going to be apparent to you. So that shit is what that is, man. I don't know what else to say, but if you on this journey, last but not least, if you're on this journey, man, stick with it, man. It does get better. You will get through. Stay strong, y'all. For all my my people who out there quitting weed or no fap, or you want to do the cold shower thing, or you know, you however you want to do it, stay strong, and stay focused, and you'll get through there. And that's that, man. It's AMC, the Creature, signing off, man.